Okay, we're now with Lee from the Funeral Portrait. We saw you a year ago at Download, and we think at the time we were talking about when are we going to get a chance to see the Funeral Portrait doing a headlining date, and here we are at the Under the Dome.
Under the Dome.
Under the
dome is on top of us.
Yes.
We're under it.
And here you are doing a headlining set. First one in the UK?
Yes, I'm so excited. So it's kind of crazy. It's been kind of nonstop for us, you know. And last year we were here in the UK with Erasmus, you know, but now doing our own shows are it's kind of crazy.
Because I say, you know, I'm a big fan, and it's great to see you live. But obviously, as a support slot, you get half an hour at best. So you're going to get what, an hour plus tonight?
Yeah, I mean, kind of whatever we want, you know. I guess as long as we don't go past curfew. So yeah, we've got a lot of songs planned. You know, songs that will probably never be played past this record cycle too. You know what I mean? That kind of situation where, you know, I wanted to kind of give some fan favorite deep cuts their time, you know, for people that have never seen us too, because that's a big thing too, is we're so used to just playing in the States and those kids seeing and people seeing the same songs over and over again. But out here, they've maybe seen it once before at Download or when we were here with Erasmus. That's it, you know.
Never getting out of here. They say just settle down. You're never getting out of this place. Welcome to Suffocate City. We're never getting out. Never getting out of here. They say just settle down. You're never getting out of this place. Welcome to Suffocate City. You think you've had enough, but boy, it's just the half of it. That's when they pull the plug.
So this is all part of, you're currently on a European festival tour, you've been doing all festivals and things like that, so this is this wrapping it up now? Are you at the end of this cycle?
Yeah, we've got this show, and then we go play Resurrection Festival in Spain, and then we go home. So, finally. No. Listen, normally I don't say finally. The situation is it's been too hot. Because two things. One, y'all don't believe in AC, which is a big thing going on the internet right now everywhere. Because also the Europeans going to the States and realizing everywhere has AC, and us coming over here realizing nowhere has AC. So, but it's been great. The shows have been incredible, and you know, I never thought that we'd be selling out venues, even these smaller clubs and stuff like that. I don't know. This is kind of crazy for us.
Can't drink, can't drug, can't drown them away. Can't sleep, can't think, can't find an escape from these dark, dark thoughts in my mind. Can't drink, can't drug, can't drown them away. Can't sleep, can't think, can't find an escape from these dark, dark thoughts in my mind.
And I've seen, talking of technology, I've seen, was it in the Netherlands, your bus hoist, which was literally, I don't know how you can describe this for radio, but it literally picked up your tour bus, a big tour bus,
yes,
and spins it around on a lift,
yes,
180 degrees.
Oh my God, yeah. So that was a whole thing. So we all had to get out of the bus, and before we could go into the venue, they had to complete this because it was like, I guess there's some like weird legal thing that the reason why the bus can pull in but it can't pull out is because it's right next to a police station.
Okay.
And there's also a bike lane, which in the Netherlands everybody rides a bike. There's barely any cars. It's the bus, the train, or a bike. That's it. I saw maybe 10 cars, you know, which is great. I love that. But they have weird laws with all that stuff. So they had to have this hoist so what they did is they drove over it, and then gigantic crane machine basically came down, and hoist it in the air really high up, right? Which I'm like, I don't know really why they needed to do it that high up, but whatever. They were really high, turned it around, dropped it down so they could be perfectly, so that way they could just pull right out. So it was kind of crazy. It was a very, very weird thing to experience.
I'm getting the impression there are probably more pictures of the bus than the gig at this stage.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Well, it's so funny because like I posted on social media, right, and I got like 10 million views, right, and there's a few things there. One, I kind of maybe knew what I was doing by like clickbaiting. There's a little bit because people started getting like very political in the comments of being like, well, in the U.S. we know how to drive, you know, and stuff like that, and I'm like, that's not at all what this is about, you know. And it was because I did talk about how in the Netherlands, a lot of the venues are governmentally funded, right? Which is crazy. So these venues are top of the line. Even their small clubs, some of them are top of the line, and they have really cool stuff like this because they just really invest into the arts there. You know, there's different ways, of course. I'm not going to argue what a government should spend money on or whatever. But for a touring musician to come to a venue, to be treated like royalty, I love that, to be treated like royalty, it's great because for us, we don't get that often, right? Like just having a headlining show in like a 400 cap club, and then there being like this world-class catering and this bus hoist, you know, and all this stuff. So it's really cool to see.
There's a heavy on this mind. There's a weight behind these eyes. What if I can't stop the rising tide? Above the undertow, do you see me down below? Sinking stone, wondering how much deeper I can go. Can't drink, can't drug, can't drown them away. I can't sleep, can't think, can't find an escape from these dark thoughts in my mind. Oh.
And I also saw that you've been Papa Roach,
yes.
Black Veil Brides.
Oh, yes.
I mean, presumably there's the fanboy inside of you going mad at this.
Oh, yeah, it's been crazy. This whole tour, so it's wild. We started booking this tour back in probably right after the Rasmus tour. We started getting these festival offers, and we started taking them, and we were like, well, we got to do dates in between. And I became really close with Andy from Black Veil over the past year, and they had 2 shows planned, and so we hopped on both. The very first one got canceled because their drummer had to fly home because of a family emergency. So they had to find a fill-in, and they had to cancel that show so they could practice for the next show. So we got to play one show with them, and then we did a few days with this band called Set It Off, who I've known forever because they're from about 6 hours from me in Florida, and I'm in Georgia. And I don't know, they would always come up that way because where Florida is, you literally just have to go north. Right, that's the only way that you can get out of that massive state. So you just had to go up, and that's where Atlanta is. So they would play there. I've known them literally for like 15 years, which is great to finally play shows with them. And then, of course, the Papa Roach show. That was kind of a crazy thing for us to be like, oh, wow, Papa Roach knows that we exist. So Papa Roach wants us on their show. Okay. And we played, and we became like, now we're like friends, which is kind of weird. I have like Jacoby's number, which is weird. Like, you know, stuff like that is so weird to me still, but I'm just so thankful to like have those opportunities.
So when the phone rings now, is it Ivan Moody? Is it Jacoby? I mean, it's just
it's literally kind of crazy what's happened to my phone. My text message threads in there from the past 2 years is kind of crazy.
Oh, my head is a prison. No one ever visits. It's just you and me till the end. Waiting for my sentence. If I find an exit, will you still follow me?
I was going to say it's now a couple of years, I suppose, since Greetings from Suffocate City 2024, and then you had the deluxe edition now. So I was going to ask about new music. Then literally the day before, I think Melrose Avenue, and featuring the Funeral Portrait.
Yes.
So first of all, tell us a bit about that, I suppose, because it does sound like a perfect combination. It sounds.
It was really cool. So the story is last year we toured with them in the States, supporting Ice and Kills, and they were the opening band, right? And it was basically one of their first tours ever, right? and at least our first tour out of Australia. And they were really cool guys, and we got along really well. And then we stayed in touch for a while, and then they reached out. They're like, hey, we have this song. It's called Cemetery Friend. We feel like you'd work so well on it. And they sent me it, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. I said, so let's do it. And we literally, one thing after the next led to the next, next. I literally tracked my vocals for it. Then the next day we shot the music video, right? And then like basically the next day they had a show in Hollywood while I was in Hollywood working on our next record. And I went up on stage, I sang it. I basically was like, hey, this is a song that's going to come out, and here you go. And you know, it's fun to kind of do all that stuff so fast.
Welcome to the graveyard rendezvous, where callous hearts break in two. We can crawl into this tomb, it's made for two. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, I'm bleeding out for you. Being we're just two hearts hanging from the news, falling by downward spoke. Come back to me again, kiss me suicidal. My cemetery friend, this toxic love might be the end of me. Come back to me, come back to me, my cemetery friend.
And you mentioned working on the next record. Are we going to get new music? Whereabouts are you at the moment?
I don't know when, but I know it's gonna be done this year. So the story is I spent about a month and a half in LA right before this tour, and then I'm about to spend 2.5 months in LA, basically finishing up the record and starting on like all the lore for what's next, you know, is Suffocate, what's happening in Suffocate City, all those kind of things of continuing what the story is, or, you know, do we start something new or whatever it is. I'm not fully giving away everything, but we hope a new song out before the end of the year, but who knows? You know how that goes. I might hate the record so much, and I might beg the label to be like, no, I've got to redo 7 of these 20 songs or something. I don't know. So,
But this will be a continuation from. It'll continue the theme, the thread, the story.
yeah, as of right now, yes. You know, and I think the situation is I loved what we finally were starting to do on this last record, and I feel like if I were to abandon it now, I feel like that's the worst idea. I don't know. I'm finally being able to tell my story through what I would call Suffocate City, right? And these are real songs, they're real feelings, they're real emotions, they're real stories. I just get to tell them with a little twist on it, you know, with the record.
I sat and watched TV for 2 days. I think my mom is gonna miss me. Can't say that I've been doing well. Therapy told me Jesus loves me more than I love myself. I woke up choking on my vomit. I couldn't clean it out the carpet. Oh yeah, anxiety's a real bitch. Maybe I could drink to death before all my friends.
And because, I mean, with the deluxe edition, you had a couple of new tracks on it. Evergreen, loved Evergreen, fantastic. Mm-hmm. Was that written at the time of Suffocate City, or was that something as in between?
It was in between. We had a few B-sides for the record, but we weren't in love with them, right? And I was talking with Lexi, who's our head of A&R at our label, and she was like, what if we just go write a few more songs and just see if you like them and want to release them? And we did 2, which was Evergreen and Skinny Lies, and both of those made the deluxe, and it was just new songs, you know, and we've been playing them a lot live, and everybody really likes them. We like playing them. It's different, it's new, and you know, I don't know if fully the next record will take shape of that way. I think there's a few songs so far. Like I said, I've probably written, last I looked in my Dropbox folder, there's like 32 songs, but I need a few more. I'm not in love with all 32 of them, right? Which is hard to say because, you know, quote, they're all your children kind of thing, but I can pick my favorites, you know, and the situation is I still don't have my favorites. I have certain favorites, but I need more favorites.
And all I've learned is there's a truth that's not worth lying for. Heaven ain't no place
been a big advocate of mental health and of being an outsider, and I mean, I get the impression at the moment that the Funeral Portrait are in a very good place. A lot of good things happening to you. Does that then sometimes make it difficult to write songs that reflect? Obviously, you write who you are and where you are at the moment, but are you still able to grasp that darker side that you want for this sort of album?
You know, I think so much has happened for us over the last 2 years. You know, I think a big thing that I've been talking about and singing about and is almost about imposter syndrome, right? I think that's a big thing, and I think it's a lot of people have that feeling, right? And I think that has been controlling my life over the past few years, of being like, how did I get here? You know, where it good and bad. You know, I think imposter syndrome can be good and bad, and I think it's almost like a big revolving wordplay and feeling for the next record or songs at least I've been writing. And it's one of those situations that I think, going from the deluxe, which were like, we just threw a bunch of songs. There's a demo of Alien on there. There's all these things, right? And then if you got I think it was the physical version has this song called Friends Like These, which I wish we would have actually released it. But it was, we wanted to do something cool where if you got the physical, you got something very unique and only there, you know? And I think that kind of stuff is what I really love doing. Is I love doing very unique releases. That's why we did this EP randomly one day, you know. That's why we do these. That's why we do all these versions of the record, you know, the glow in the dark vinyl plus the cassette tape plus the 12-page booklet, you know. And we did the graphic novel and all these things. All those things are so important.
Trade my soul to a wealthy man so I don't have to work again. He said, what's my price to rule the world? One time. Bow down to the church and the sinner with the sun still keep your head. Holy, your holy fire. Yeah. I'm a priest in the prayer. I'm like a savior. Just like I'm holding your holy one. Concerned that now it's you. We roll the dice for sacrifice to you. The name and the truth. Have rolled the dice for sacrifice to you. Holy, you're holy water, holy, you're holy water.
And so now that your address book is expanding, I can hear I assume that's the Howling War.
Yeah, it is the Howling. They're
warming up in the
great.
background.
I love them. I love them.
But now that your address book is expanding, does that open the possibilities? I mean, there have been collaborations, like we talked about Ivan Moody on things. Now, presumably, you've got a whole host of other new friends who could come in on some of these.
This is true. The situation is the way that I do a lot of our collaborations are after the fact, right? But I think this time I've got it all planned out while I'm writing, and that's going to be really cool, because this is the first time that I think we have that, because of you're right, the people that I know, the people that like my band, and the bands that I grew up loving that now like my band and stuff like that. So I'm writing songs that I feel like would fit someone's voice or their character or who they want to be, and adding them into our lore and stuff is going to be very important.
How can I change my life when I only wanna die? You couldn't love me if you tried. You're so ugly when you cry. You're so bury me deep, 'cause all the world around me is so ugly.
And what are we going to get tonight as a headlining set? You said we're going to get some of the deeper cuts from the Funeral Portrait. Does a headlining set allow you to bring some of the theatrics that you've had in some of the videos and things, or is that difficult on tour? Like
Here, it's not happening just because the budget to do stuff like that is kind of crazy. But we would love to hopefully do that the next time that we come back over this way, is to bring that show that we're basically putting on in the States later this year, you know, is this over the top, you know, where we have the icons and all those things. But songs wise, you're just getting a lot of songs off the record, you know, some deluxe songs, that kind of stuff, and some storytelling, which is good and fun. So we'll see how it goes.
Everybody wants to be a martyr, and everybody wants to know their father loves their precious son. Everybody wants a happy ending, anything to keep pretending earn yourself for fine. Fear of fulfillment, fear of this, they build your chains the same. How can I change that when I already died? You couldn't love me if you tried. You were so ugly when you cried. So bury me deep. 'Cause all the world around me is so ugly.
And then, so will we get a chance to see you guys back over here this year?
Not this year.
No.
So this year, like I said, we are going to be busy up until basically September, writing and recording the record. And then all of September, we are actually going to take some time off, away from everything. Do not talk to me. I'm going to literally like disappear, which is great because I'm going to take a whole month off, because right after that, we start second leg of our 3 Days Grace run. And after that, we've got things for next year already planned, and so it's going to be, let's go. So I need a month of like, you know, log off. I'm going to log off.
And then that will coincide 2027 presumably with the new music, and then hopefully back over here to playing those tracks.
Play lots more shows. So I really want to come back over here. I'm hoping for early next year. So
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of the Funeral Portrait, which is not what I want. It's what the people want. And lovely to see you again, Lee.
my friend, thank you.